Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Swemp Electronics Football Alliance Division 1, but not quite Division 1, the Norwegian Cup Final. And I am joined tonight by someone who might have something to do with this match, and it is Quinton Fortuna. Good evening,
Good
Quinton.
evening, Mr. Megahorse.
How are you doing?
Yeah, all right. We've prepared as well as we can for this cup final, but we've had a couple of difficult games against you and so far. And we haven't beaten them yet, so hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst.
Preparing for the worst. What is the worst?
Uh, 13-2.
32. Ewen, who of course have had some kind of very strange cup run, haven't they? We'll have a look at that in a little bit, but what we'll do very first of all is take a little look at Division 1 for this season and see just what we had in store. Um, to look at that table for the season, Trafford winning the league, 3 points clear of Phoenix. Were those two the best teams in the league?
They had the squads with the highest abilities, and I think that's probably the best way to answer that. In terms of entertainment, not the best, but we're asked to pick a squad, and them guys have picked the ones with the highest abilities, and that's reflected in the points, isn't it?
Now, it's interesting you say that because when we have a think to this season's Player of the Season votes that we've been having, um, not one player has made it to the final of the Player of the Season vote from these two squads.
Yeah, I found it when I was looking at those votes. I found it really hard to think of many players who've been memorable for any particular things throughout the course of the season. Some people have had standout games, but I suppose Yavin at Wolves, one of the top scorers. You can think of what's like Batistuta with 5 goals in a game, but for an individual to consistently perform throughout the league, it's hard to think of too many. I mean, obviously there's a couple in my team who had been performing quite regularly, David Day and Jurgen Kohler. And I know there will be some for other teams, but it's hard to think of someone who's performing consistently well throughout.
Yeah, it's one of those seasons where there's been certainly some flash in the pan moments from some players. We think back to the match when Batistuta scored 5 in a game and things. But I don't think Batistuta was consistent throughout the season, was he? And that's kind of highlighted by the fact he hasn't made the top 4.
No, that's it. Shearer was playing a lot, wasn't he, for that team? I think for a lot of the game, if I'm right. But he's not played too often, has he? I think Bergkamp's been in and around there as well. Obviously, you would have had some standout players. I know you're a big fan of Salt, but they've had some good players throughout the season. But again, I suppose in recent weeks they've tailed off to finish below my team in the end. So I don't think there's been too many who've been consistently good throughout the season. Big Dunk at East Coast, again, he's had his moments, but he's not always been a regular in the lineup. There's been some good players for every team, and obviously you'd expect that the top two to have some good players, but as far as individuals go, there's not too many that stick out because there's been some good team performances.
Yeah, and it is interesting that amongst the top 4, they come from teams no higher than 6th in the league table. Highest up in the league table, Arkadiusz Bonk is in there. Currently in that vote in the top 4, followed by Badgers' Davy Collins and Wolverhampton's Mason Yavin, and then David Day of your own team. That's 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th represented from the Player of the Season vote.
Yeah, no, as I mentioned, I know Yavin's been consistently good for Wolves, but for Badgers, I couldn't tell you what Collins has done. I know he's probably had some decent games. I think he's had I don't know if he got a hat trick in one game maybe, but I don't think he's been consistently brilliant. I think they've had a number of team for. I mean, he's got 9 goals at a rating of 7.25. It's not
No,
outstanding.
it
Certainly
isn't
not by David
outstanding.
Collins standards. So I wouldn't say it's been a memorable season from him. They've just had some really good team performances throughout there. I think the most memorable moment for the Badgers for me is Alex Manning and netting one. But they've had some other good individual performances. I just don't think David Collins has been their best player. Never mind Division One's best player.
Yeah, interesting look at the voting for tonight. Good evening, Mike Savage. Welcome to the
Evening,
show.
Mike.
We're just going to go through some awards now that we can go through for the end of the season, and the first award, which we actually is going to be a joint award for Division One Entertainer of the Season, and our candidates to begin with were from Ewen Rovers. We've got Neil Critchley, who, I mean, a 7.19 average rating if you take the cup into account as well. It always seemed to be decent, especially earlier in the season. He's one of those candidates. We've got your own Kenny Lunt, whose average rating has been pretty good. But I mean, he's got 14 assists amongst all competitions and 6 goals, so plenty of contributions. There's also taken from Flamingos, Des Vaioaso, who is in there for scoring Flamingo's last goal of the season. Not a particularly great average rating, but entertaining all the same. And the other choice taken into this award was Roy Keane from the Wanderers of Wolverhampton. And looking into it, doesn't seem particularly entertaining from this screen until you realise he's got 10 yellows and 2 reds during the season, so he's contributed. I mean, for yourself, who would you have picked for the award there?
Well, I mean, I'm biased obviously towards Lenihan in the midfield, who's just, I mean, he's first time I've managed him and he's performed well above expectations, and he always seems to contribute and step up to the plate. But I mean, if entertainment's your bag in the form of thuggery, then Roy Keane with his 10 yellows and 2 reds, he got a 10 in his last game as well. If you look at his form guide, to be fair to him, so he's I suppose all round entertainment is he's up there as well. And Critchley is again another one who's performed well above expectations, but I don't remember any particular standout moments from him. He's just been one of those who's a decent performer rather than anyone who's going to give any standout moments.
Yeah, it's quite a summary, isn't it, that you've given. I think the vote has ended up a draw, and there's not been a revote in this category. It's gone straight to a joint winners for the first season between Neil Critchley of Ewen Rovers and Kenny Lunt of Fortuna Deflection. So joint winners there, and it's interesting that they will play the cup final out today.
Well, yeah, it's hopefully we can just share the cup as well, and then nobody has to lose. We can have a nice
Party and
quiet
sandwiches. Yeah. The next award for Division 1, this was the Old Player of the Season, and taken from 4 different clubs. The first person who was in the vote was your own Dieter Eilts, who, I mean, to be honest, it's not a bad season at all, is it? If someone comes out with 7.46 from a season, you'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, his last 5 games, 8-7, 8-9, just shows how important he's been, really. And he didn't necessarily start off the season in the first team lineup as such, but he soon forced his way in there to play that many games. He's been excellent, and I mean, I've got a couple of old cards in my squad. He's just picked Jurgen Kohler into there, hasn't he? But he's performed really well. It's just a shame he's going to miss the cup final tonight.
Yeah, Jurgen Kohler was excluded from this vote for being one of the final 16 in the in the main voting for it. I mean, you couldn't put an Old Player of the Season award up there without putting Antonio Fortes into it. There, 64 years old, and he didn't score a league goal. Only played 11 league games in total. Yeah, he was in there just basically on the fact that he is so old, I guess.
Yeah, but to be fair, 6.67 isn't the worst rating we've had in the league, is he? So he's held his own as a 64-year-old. He's often been on the bench, even if he hasn't come off the bench as well. So he's got to be up there with the shouts, hasn't he? I mean, fair play to Wolfie for sticking him in the squad to start with. And he, in that cup, I think he got a goal and an assist in the same game in the first cup game they played. So 7.5 in the cup from 4 appearances, decent performance.
It was a decent performance to be able to score a goal there, wasn't it, for the old guy. 2 more people have joined on the chat. We've got Mr. Wooder. I mean, are we bothered that he's here? I mean, I wonder what his
Not
prediction
bothered.
will be for the final. That'll be no, very welcome on the show. Wooder, it's great to have you on. And I have seen your message. I've been asleep. That's why they started a little bit later tonight. I fell asleep. And Mr. Shaw is here as well. Stephen Shaw. He has his cup final birthday suit on for today.
Oh, wonderful. Good luck.
Yes, yeah. You mentioned earlier on that your team haven't beaten you in this season, so the third meeting is a chance to put that right. But at the same time, can Ewan continue their form? The third player in this vote, and someone who didn't play a lot this season, but kind of became quite well known for well, he did play a lot, didn't he? 20 starts. Didn't realise it was quite that many, but he did score twice in one appearance at one point. It's not a great average rating or anything like that, but to come on and score twice in half an hour when he came on wasn't too bad at all, was it?
Well, that's it. 20 starts, didn't score a goal, and he came off the bench once and got a couple. So yeah, good performance from Keon. It's not the best average rating I've ever seen him have, but it's nearly 7, isn't it? And he's been a key member of that defence. So he thoroughly deserves to be in there at the age of 36.
And our last candidate for this award comes from Badgers again, and this one's for Dave Barnett, who, I mean, he didn't play a lot towards the end of the season, but that's partly due to the fact that he stuck on 4% fitness at one point.
Yeah, did he have a dead leg or something? And he was out for a while, wasn't he? I mean, Dave Barnett's one of those that when I ever do a physio report on him, he's always got some kind of arthritis, and you send him to a faith healer, and it never recovers. So I don't really get too much out of him, but performance-wise, he seems to be that sort of level. Really, he's getting over 7. I suppose the question is he's only played 50% of the league season, hasn't he? And when you're comparing someone like Kieran who's played all them games, but again, he's been a key member of that team. He's just been a little bit unfortunate with injuries, but that's what you get with someone like Barnett. But I suppose all these 4 players just show you that they're proper old age ballers, aren't they? So when it comes to the team that's in the league next season with players over the age of 31 or at the age of 31 and above, calling them old age, you can see there's plenty of life in these old dogs.
Absolutely, and the fact that some of your players have missed out despite being older than that 31 limit as well. The Old Player of the Season award does go to Dave Barnett. He takes the award, the inaugural Division 1 Old Player of the Year award. And
bit harsh on Jurgen Kohler, who's technically one of them by default.
Antonio Fortes, 36% in second place. But yeah, Jurgen Kohler made the final 16 on the Player of the Season vote, so technically he was the best old player, but Old Player of the Season goes to Dave Barnett. Yeah, Phil Salt didn't make the list for Entertainer or for Player of the Season. I mean, if it was my favourite sub of the season, he'd certainly be one of those on the list.
Swemp FA Chairman Player of the Season.
Graham Symington's pick of the season, yeah, old salty. And the final one for Division 1, before we go to the actual Player of the Season for them, which the voting is nearly at an end, the moment of the season. And if we have a little look at what we find here, we've got Flamingos, 102 goals conceded this season, and the fact that they conceded over 100. He went to that final round of the season, and East Coast scored that goal that made them concede 100. I mean, did you think a team would possibly be that bad?
No, not even when I saw the squad. To be fair, I mean, I know they're young and they don't develop for a little while, but they're just. I suppose it's the number of defenders they got. They just didn't have enough defenders in that squad. It was just a poor choice, and poor Fife had to deal with a hospital pass, didn't he, in trying to get them over the line. And he got them playing fairly well in some matches, and it looked like they might avoid the 100. But some of these teams in the league are far too strong, and they were ruthless, weren't they, East Coast in that last game? And 102 conceded, absolutely no fault of Fife.
None
the
at
initial
all.
pick of the team was absolutely diabolical.
And a manager who ran after a while, and still, they said he didn't have time to do it, but yet can still put out different things day after day after day. Anyway, let's not say too much about that. Other moments of the season, we've got. We're just scrolling back a little bit towards the different results that we have. It's Phoenix versus Ewen, and Gabriel Batistuta scoring 5 in a game. That was one of those key moments of the season.
Yeah, it was a great performance by him, wasn't he? There was no let up in that one. I suppose he was a little bit hard. I don't think Yapstam was playing, was he, for Ewan? I don't think they had the strongest defence in.
No.
Yeah, McCready and O'Kane they had, didn't they? So they were missing,
suspended, I think, and injured the two at the
Rimmer
back.
and Stam, weren't they? So it's not the same Ewan as I'll be playing tonight, but I'm hopeful one of my team can channel their inner Gabriel Batistuta and get a ball in the back of the net.
Our other two key results, which I do have to scroll back a little bit for. Imagine Madrid beating the Wanderers of Wolverhampton 5-3. Now that was quite an interesting match. I mean, Wolves had actually scored. So I mean, look at that first 20 minutes. It was 3-2 to Wolves after just 20 minutes in that game.
Yeah, it was a great game. That was probably a slight turning point in the Madrid season because they'd not been getting on the score sheet too many times before that. And Wolves started off really well in that game. It was just an excellent first half, finishing 4-3, and second half was a bit quieter as you'd expect after that. But everyone gave it the best, and it just, I suppose, Pelletsoli's let him down a bit in goal, hasn't he, in that one? But it was definitely one of the most entertaining matches we've seen all season in both of the divisions.
Yeah, I did enjoy that one. It's one that did stick in my memory. I was thinking, what was that result? I had to go back and actually look at the exact score, but I remember it was a good one. The final one that we had within this, we're looking back to a 4-3 result a bit further back in the season. Badgers beating the Iron Curtain, which, this game going to a 90th minute winner from Murray Walker.
Yeah, I didn't remember that, to be honest, as it came up on the polls. It's one I'd forgotten about. I think I was thinking of my. I think, did I get a late win? I don't know if it was against Badgers with Robert Sandratana in extra time of the cup quarter final with about a minute to go. That was my moment for my team for a late goal. But I didn't remember this from the league. I remember the Imagine Madrid Wolves game, but couldn't remember that one at all.
Well, it's famous, this game, for commentary from George from Rainbow on the Comment Relief night.
Oh, that'll be it then. There's a lot going on that night, so yeah, it just didn't stick in the memory at all. I was obviously listening
I
to
think
Dillis.
It was that night. It was that night, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, Phoenix and Falarkey. Yeah, Red Nose Day, indeed, Tato. It was you on the commentary for that game. We had as well Kermit the Frog and Dillis and Steve Wright commentating on that night. It was quite the night, wasn't it? That was the one that finished at nearly 3 a.m. on the recording. Yeah,
we're just starting tonight, aren't we? Then we'll finish at 3.
Yeah, this we will be over within half an hour tonight. Definitely, it will be half an hour from now. Certainly, it will be over. The winner for this season. There's an interesting way of putting that, Tato. We've got the winner for the season. I mean, it had to be the fact that Flamingos have conceded 100 goals. No points, 102 conceded. Flamingos winning moment of the season for the conceding their 100th goal.
Yeah, that's fair play, and it's they were awful, and looking forward to seeing Fifey's actual team next year when he can show us his managerial talent rather than having to deal with that crock of shit.
That's certainly one way of putting it. No.
Well, I'm sure his team will be more balanced than they were. They didn't really stand a chance, did they? It's I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got up his sleeve.
His wizard sleeve. Let's see what he's got up there. Anyway, Division 2 awards. Just very quickly to run through. Entertainer of the season. I'm not going to be going on to the thing to look at the save itself. I mean, what an end it was to the season the other day with Blues, who were going into the game in second place. It looked like Dalgety Rangers would get the 3 points they needed against Los Aracas to guarantee the title. and then the Blues won, and Dalgety, despite the fact they got such a late equaliser, could not find a winner, and the title shifted to Blues to take the lead 10 games after they'd lost the lead of the table.
Yeah, great entertainment, and that's what these leagues are about. It should be a bit of fun rather than just stacking your team with the top players on ability.
Although they were pretty good.
Well, yeah, the Rackers is a Newcastle concept, though. They had the last laugh, didn't they? The concept team had the last laugh.
Yeah, very true.
It's set there with the rest. So yeah, I mean, you couldn't have written much better than that, really, for a late entertainment for the final day. I mean, you've got to feel sorry for losing the title on the last day of the season, but still getting promoted, aren't they? If they want to be. So yeah, excellent end to the season, great entertainment, and it was a decent season Division 2, but there's too many Van Nistelrooys for my liking in that division, and too many big players.
As Tato's referring to now in his comments, yeah. Which Van Nistelrooy was which? It's a key thing. I mean, I think I put maybe 3 or 4 Van Nistelrooys into the vote when it could have been 7 in there. So yeah, next season we will certainly. I mean, I'm not sure if we'll have more than 3 or 4 in the entire league, which will be much better for it. It's been a complete change to that, but yeah, Dublin Blues next season. We've got Dalgety are going up to Division 1. The squad, there's been some sort of, I mean, there's some issues with Ross's computer at the moment, but his team is being put into Division 1, and it will go in there for season 2, and really promoted, of course, as well, wasn't it? So that they'll be up in Division 1 next season. I think they're just making some minimal changes to their squad. Mike says he's not a fan of the Van Nistelrooy at all, or the Nistelrooy, which is
why the long face?
Yes, no horseplay there. Yeah, I mean, I played him in attacking midfield and actually found that he was a good quality player in attacking midfield, but certainly not part of next season's squad for me. Anyway, the Entertainer of the Season awards in there. The candidates were Michael Hughes of Atleti, whose first half of the season was superb and his second half was very quiet. Jeff Whitley from Otis, whose first half of the season was very quiet, and then Mike took over and turned him into a much better player. Dario Silva from Grove, who, you know, if you think about what he provided at times, it was certainly great quality for the last third of a match. And Dean Saunders from Dangley's, who, I mean, getting a 3 out of 10 in a match and being that bad, had to go into that category.
Yeah, I mean, it was entertaining in the fact that is absolutely terrible, wasn't it? So yeah, I mean, Saunders was rubbish, and it was funny for everyone, really. But yeah, like you say, Whitley turned into a world beater once Mr. Savage took charge. So he was excellent. He played really well, and I'm glad he's managed to make the team for next season. Michael Hughes was a good addition to the league. As you know, I'd questioned him before the start of the season, and he's played really well for Atleti through the season. And yeah, an honourable mention to Mr. Dario Silva for his performances. He wasn't so good off the starting the game, but off the bench he was an absolute world beater, wasn't he? And yeah, some great performances from each of those 4.
Yep, and the second place went to Jeff Whitley with 32%. Jeff Whitley, yeah, indeed. Not Jim Whitley, as it could have been. What is Jim Whitley any good on this game at all?
No,
didn't think so.
No, not at all. Not unless Mike takes charge of him, and then he's a world beater.
And the actual player of the season, my heavy breathing. Am I breathing early? Apologies. And player of the season, entertainer of the season, Dean Saunders of Dangley's. And Mr. Wooder, congratulations, one of your players performed so badly. He entertained us that well. Manager of the season, the screen is just sat on the league table. Yeah, absolutely, the screen is sat on the league table.
Since it on the player stats for average ratings, we can see who was the actual
I mean, I
deserved
could do.
player of
We're
the
in
season.
division. We're in Division Two, aren't we? Looking at this, but I will just do a little. I'll leave it on that. Just, I think it's because Tato might be watching in. He could be watching in silence. I'm not sure. Sometimes he does have to. He does have to watch with no sound on. The Division Two manager of the season. There were four candidates, but interestingly enough, Matt Lucas of Real E didn't receive a single vote. And I think that's very harsh because he's there we go. He can hear us because I mean Real E's climb to finish up in third after that run of form at the end of the season was superb.
Yeah, I thought he managed really well, and it's. You do question whether he's voted himself, don't you, on that one? Because if he has, then fair play to him for voting for someone else. But yeah, he managed well. He had a good squad to deal with, obviously at Real E, but he performed to a good extent in the league. My vote did go the way of Big Kid for Trumpton, just for the formations and the way they were playing throughout there, and the squad wasn't as strong as you'd think compared to the other big boys at the top of the league, but. So honourable mention again to Mr. Savage because since Otis he came in as the Otis manager, he really did get them performing a lot better. But there wasn't enough games he played really for me to cast a vote that way. And the Blues manager as well, yeah, Graham Dunning, excellent performance in terms of team position. But I just like the experimentation and the fun that Trumpton showed through there.
Yeah. That's kind of the reason why those three were the top three in the vote, I suppose. Graham Dunning winning the title for Blues did very well. It was a good squad, but there were a lot of good squads in the division. Mike Savage, of course, we've mentioned, and how his formation experiments and also the way they did turn the team around. They didn't lose their final two games, which was a huge step forward. But yeah, manager of the season in Division Two. As you've mentioned, your vote went that way. Big Kid of Trumpton, formation experiments, and contribution to the league. Good finish for the season, was it? It was fourth in the end, wasn't it? For them, yeah. And manager of the season, Big Kid of Trumpton.
Well deserved, yeah. It's about a bit of fun for me, this league, and you can always sign and play the same players game in, game out. You can do the same saves, and whichever team you pick, sign the same players. That's not for me. I like to have a bit of experimentation in this, play some different players, and Trumpton have given us some good formation ideas.
Absolutely. 3 awards to go, and then the cup final, and then that's where we will be tonight. Division 2's second best moment of the season. Because of course our best moment of the season was that final day ridiculous action that we got just 3 days ago. But the choices for this one were one of the very first games of the season. Was it the first league match of the season? Dean Saunders with his 3 out of 10.
Yeah, it might be the very first. Yeah, if not, he was one of the first couple, wasn't it? But yeah, he was appalling. It didn't get much better with his next game either, did it? I
Still averaged under a 5 for the entire season. Radaby versus Dalgety Rangers, 3-2 to Dalgety. That was a 90th minute winner in a game where I think if Radaby had have taken something out of that game, their season may have been a bit different. We had Blues versus Dalgety. The last meeting between those two sides was 5-1. And it just makes you think that the goal difference there put that pressure on. That's an 8-goal turnaround, and didn't Blues win the league by 4 goals?
I can't remember how many it was. It wasn't many, was it? It was no more than 6. Could have been 4. 4 could be right.
If that had been a 1-goal victory, Dalgety Rangers may well have won the league. That's how different it would have been. If they'd have lost by 1, they'd have won the league, but they lost by 4.
Yeah, and if they won another match as well, then it would all change,
yeah, but it's that specific game made all the difference for the season. And then the result of Gondor 3, Los Urracas 2, which I believe was with that was with Fifey in charge of Gondor, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that rings a bell. He's got around a bit, Fifey, hasn't he? He had to search for a win by being at 2 different teams, but that was a thrilling game, that one, and it was a well-deserved result.
Yeah, their only win of the season.
And what a performance! What a memorable performance it was.
3-2 against Lossarakas, the side that made the league title go in a different direction to where it was going. And the award for second best moment of the season was Dean Saunders' 3 out of 10. I was very tempted to put Tony Warner's 2 out of 10 in there as well as as a potential one, but that did not happen.
That's because he was against your team, wasn't it?
7-0 indeed. And yeah, he was he was terrible. Division 2's player of the season. Now, in the vote from the 4 semi-finals, we ended up with a final. We can't see the players on screen because of the other save being on. Ruud van Nistelrooy of Stackington, who played in attacking midfield for like the last 10-12 games of the season, reached the final from his group. We had Zeriberto of Blues, who got into double figures with assists and played pretty well. Had was it 3 assists on that last day of the season? I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
Keem from Stackington, who, I mean, if you think the team conceded, I can't remember how many goals it was, 135,000 goals or something, but there is Keem who conceded, I think it was 24 in 20 games, considering that Barthez and Costanzo went to concede nearly 20 goals between them for the rest of the season in just a few matches. And Franco Costanzo of Trumpton were the final 4 in there.
Yeah, I mean, Van Nistelrooy did play well for Stackington, that attacking midfield position. Zeriberto is an excellent assist maker, isn't he? So hopefully he'll be a good addition to the Fortuna Deflection squad next season. But I think you pronounced his name wrong. His name's Quim. He did really turn the Stackington season around, didn't he, going in goal? So he's performed really well. To be honest, in terms of Costanza at Trumpton, don't remember a particularly memorable game he's had. I don't think they've been on the ropes defensively for any game. So I'm surprised to see him having that many votes and being right up there, to be quite honest, because I think they've had some more memorable performances than him. But yeah, I suppose the other 3 I do think were standout players of their teams.
And with 59% of the vote, the player of the season in Division 2 was Keem. He took that award.
Well done, Quim.
We have just received the player of the season for Division 1 final results, and we will do that after the cup final. It's very strange to see in the fixture list for today a game that, I mean, we won't be playing unless we absolutely have to play. But Division 1's playoff final of Imagine Madrid versus Skade. And it's interesting to see what's going to happen in there. Is Skade, Eric Noppe, what a great player. I think we referred to him earlier this season. Mr. Shaw coming up with an instruction in the chat there for us.
It's Gilfie Sigurdsson's words, isn't it?
It's been an interesting one. There's absolutely no purpose to it. It's because they finished 12th in the league and have to play against 3rd place in the division below. But it's a game that we are not actually going to play. But our cup final now is Fortuna Deflection versus Ewen Rovers. And last time Fortuna got a 3-1 win with a really early hat-trick. It was the first 15 minutes from the Wankdorf Stadium. Is that what the instructions for? But yeah, 14 minutes in and Bonk had scored a hat-trick.
Yeah, he played well. He's not really had a great season by his standards, but I mean, it was called out in the commentary beforehand, wasn't it? That it was going to play well, and he did,
yeah, from Duggan, yeah, absolutely. If you take a look at your cup run for the season, it started off with a 4-2 win over Sandefjord, with 2 from Nicky Franco off the bench. Talon Martin scored in that game, and Yavin. Then a 6-2 win over Lofferton, which I think I made some ridiculous joke about it being that place near Leeds. They'd done well getting 2. Kenny Lunt's been on the action as well after he made just 1 assist, but I thought it was going to be more than that. Clicking on random things rather than going down the screen. We've got the 3rd round Klausenengen, which was a 5-0 win It did involve an own goal from Rune Nordhaug. I think that was pivotal, that game, wasn't it? The own goal.
Oh yeah. We were really struggling before that,
Yeah.
but actually, to be fair, we did struggle in that first round. That's why I had to bring Nicky Ferenko off the bench at half time to make
To
it
get
4-2.
the
I think that's
victory.
one of our toughest ones. Yeah.
You then went away to Racers after having played them in the league and got a draw. Your team ended up winning 3-1. And Jürgen
There's a lot of
Kohler,
tens from Lenny in these games. I think he's had a 10 in the last 3 cup matches.
this is why he got 8 assists in 6 cup games. Not why he's got them, but this is, obviously that. Falaraki, a massive result there to beat them 2-1 with Bonk scoring a 112th minute winner, despite the fact that you were 1-0 down. Came and got an extra time winner.
That's it. Yeah, we beat him late on in that one. I think it was a league. Maybe I beat Badgers late on with a Robert Sandratana winner. But yeah, that was a tough game.
There it is. Yep, 90th minute winner. Pretty similar kind of time. That was one, could have been moment of the season there. I'm sure Tato would have voted for himself. In the semi-finals, to beat Trafford 1-0 with an 86th minute winner from Nicky Ferenko, that was a massive result.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they started off with Nick Matillin up front, didn't they? So it wasn't quite as good as it looked.
Yes, yeah.
But they did change for the big boys for the second half. So it was 0-0 at the point when the big boys came on, and to get an 86th minute winner is I've taken them on at the best. Obviously got battered in the league just after that, but that's the most important result for me to get to the cup final.
And your team for today, it takes you a final day of the league formation, but has the one change in that you're missing Dieter Eilts, so you mentioned how important he is for your team.
Yeah, the one change that's actually 2.
Yes, of course.
So yeah,
it's 1.
Dieter Eilts.
Oh no, it's 2. You're right. Yeah, 2. You got a striker change.
Yeah, Eilts has come out, and Warner's moved from centre back into defensive mid. Eilts has played really well this season, so it's a shame that he's out because he's one of our best performers this season. But Robert Sandratan, as we saw from his couple of goals he'd contributed in those games we've seen, he's not played badly. So chance for him really in the cup to get a run out, and hopefully Vance Warner will play well in that midfield position. But yeah, David Collins has been not in great form the last few weeks up front. I did toy with the idea of Dunwell because of his cup form, but giving Yavin a run out just for something a bit different, and then we've got Dunwell and Collins on the bench if needed.
And they may well be, because your form against Ewen has been, as we mentioned before, not the greatest. I mean, Ewen beat you 1-0 in the first league meeting of the season, the goal from Kim Shellstrom, and then later on you had a 1-1 draw. David Collins and Saviola were the goal scorers, so will it be needed? We will find out. And Ewen going into this game on the back of their cup run, which we can see one of the scores in the back as we scrolled up, was an interesting one. Beating Tromsdalen 5-1 with 2 from Yapstam. I think one of those was a free kick, if I'm right in thinking about that.
Yeah, that rings a bell. Good performance from them, and Neil Critchley, one of his good performances for the season. So yeah, good start to that campaign.
One of Steve's favourite players as well there. Yeah, Socky. Definitely one of... he's actually pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
Aslak Socky. I think Steve needs to put him in his team for next season. That's a tremendous set of starts there to have 18 finishing, 20 off the ball. Not the fastest round, but I didn't realise he's that good. And then the second round, beating Reset, Video Reset 4-1. Not bad against one person, against David Flitcroft for 2 goals in that one. The next round, third round, beating Forda just by 1. Blinkhorn scoring in the first half. It seemed a bit of a struggle compared to other games. Alesund beating them 3-0. That was a more confident display. Milligan, Shostrom and Kimmins with the goals. Then it went strange after that, didn't it? It got to the quarter final and beating Curtin 12-3.
Yeah, that's a result I don't expect to see repeated many times through the seasons. It was, plenty of penalties. One of the 3 penalties in that game. Uh, I still can't believe Blinken got himself sent off when there was goals to be had for
Did
him.
he
He already
punch
had a hat
someone?
trick and he got sent off in the first half. Yeah.
What did he do? Did he punch someone? No, he's got annoyed. That was it. A foul and dissent in the semi-final. They had to go to a replay against Badgers in the end and beat them 3-1 in extra time, with their wholesome Blinkhorn getting those goals.
Yeah, and Rimmer as well, the danger man, getting one early on.
And let's have a look at today's formation. So they're going for the 4-1-2-1-2 with Critchley and Flitcroft playing roles where they will head out wide, but I think they seem a little bit worried by your central players, particularly maybe Lunt.
Yeah, they've matched up, haven't they, with the four diamond in midfield because they're normally a 4-1-3-2, I think, aren't they?
Yes, mainly.
Let's hope they don't know how to play the formation properly and take a bit of time to adjust. But they've got some strong players, haven't they, in the main positions: Saviola, Shellstrom, Vieira, Stam, Shellquist, and Salt, obviously on the bench, being the strong man. So yeah, so we've not beaten them so far this season. Just hopefully we can get a win tonight in the all important one.
The all-important one. Tato claiming the semi-final replay was the worst game of all time. Let's go into it with the predictions for the final from the chat as we set up here. Eric Zanaholt refereeing this one. What are you going to go for, Quinton?
Well, obviously, I'd like us to win, but good luck to Ewen Rovers. It is nice that we're playing at Stadium of Molineux. It's a nice little touch for Wolfie.
Oh,
and again,
yes.
just hopefully he's in good spirits. Is Wolfie, and he manages to watch this and watch Fortuna hopefully come away with the trophy.
Yes, yeah, he's certainly missed within the community. Whatever he's up to at the moment, and we do hope he is back soon. Yeah, I think he'd certainly be hoping for a Yavin goal tonight amongst others. Mr. Shaw going 2-1 to Fortuna as well. Tatar going for 2-0 with Derek Kohler and Robert Sanchez all to get 9s. 2 for Yavin goal-wise and an assist from Kenny Lunt. I think
I'd be very happy with that, but I do think it's going to be tight. And I say Ewan have been our bogey team so far, so hopefully that will come true. But we'll see how it goes, and all the best to Mr. Shaw.
Yes, yeah, he's giving you his best wishes as well. Mike going for 3-1. Let's get the cup final kicked off, and we will play. Unless there's any drama towards the end, we'll play it at this speed all the way through. Can't see us beating that team. You've had some good results for you in this season. Definitely some very good results.
We've not lost to that team yet.
I don't think we're... Oh yeah, we haven't had a vote. Oh, there's 1-0.
There they go.
Patrick Vieira makes it 1-0. Mike's in a lump with a brace and one injury time killer from Bonk. Specific ones, you haven't had a chance. We haven't had the manager of the season vote in this division, and it's partly because we've got the cup final to play today. It's half time, it's 1-0, and it's been a very, very quiet half of football.
Yeah, it's been poor, hasn't it? Two of my centre backs are the best performing players on the pitch, but we're not shooting on target really, so there might have to be an early change up top, I think. But we'll see if Mr. Shaw wants to make any changes.
Yes, yeah, we'll go to his team first of all. Take a look at that. Vieira, 1 tackle out of 6 won, but he's got a goal, and he seems to be the one who's certainly most involved on the ball for his team, winning plenty of headers and lots of passes. Worst game of the season. Or the Ortiz game. The first half was not even a page on the commentary. It was dire, that half, wasn't it? And then what was it, the other match? We got to 28 minutes without any action the other day in one of the games. Something different. Yeah, you can look again at 60 minutes, Mr. Shaw, indeed. Quinton, you got Vance Warner on 83% at this point.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Vance, is it? So I might have to make a bit of a change there. I'm a bit reluctant to move Saeed with him being in decent form as well, but I think I'm going to have to do it. So if we swap Warner and Saeed, and then Warner can come off for Andrews.
And off for Marvin
No,
Andrews.
I'm chasing the game a little bit here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Yavin off for Collins for Dunwell, I think early doors, and I'm also going to bring on the Ibrahim Saeed run.
There we are. Ready for that second half now?
Yeah, we'll get to 60 and see what happens.
2 subs made already, and let's see how the second half goes. Yeah, we started quietly again, but I don't think we're expecting anything else between these two teams at the moment. A chance. Oh, Day's made a good save. He's going forward again. He's made another one, and it's sub time now, which is taking its time because not much is going on. Oh, it's a free kick, I think, for Bonk on the edge of the box at this point. Now, you and Hill and Shostrom on 6s and everybody else on 7s. It's again, neither team is playing particularly well.
No, they're not. It's been a pretty crappy cup final, hasn't it, so far?
Great advert for the division.
Yeah, well, there's half an hour to go, so hopefully things will change a little bit. I'm going to have to make my final sub at some point too, so I'm going to go and throw everything out there because we're just not creating chances. But Ewen look fairly comfortable so far.
Let's see what he says. See what you see. Milligan for Shostrom. And drop him to centre mid. There we go. Just let us know if you want anything else doing. What I'll do is I'll head on to Fortuna and come back. And for Fortuna, we see fitness-wise that everyone seems to be reasonably okay, and ratings-wise, you've still got your Kohler and Saeed on a Spike Milligan.
Yeah, let's take Castillo off for Collins. Put Collins and Bonk as 2 central attacking mids, and let's move Estevez up alongside Dunwell. And we'll have runs from the attacking mids.
So I like that.
Yeah, that's it.
You've got to go wide somewhere.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. Well, in that case, let's move Nikiforenko wide and Collins wide. Nikiforenko can run in and Collins can run in.
Not there.
Forgot about the width at this point. Maybe to Bonk. And Collins can run to Dunwell.
There we are.
We've only played that for 30 games this season with the wide men. Yeah, let's give that a try. It looks weird.
Kenny Lunt does play right centre and Nikiforenko doesn't.
Yeah, he does, but Lunt's important, isn't he? So he's going to start there.
As for another look on 85, Quinton, do you give permission for Mr. Shaw to look on 85 minutes?
Yeah, I don't mind. No, that's not a problem.
Here we are. So subs there. Yes, we are okay for the 85th minute look at the team. Oh, the free kick was wasted. Oh, Bonks had a chance. It's a good save, and a save down the other end of the pitch as well. Well, this is certainly livening up a little bit. There's been chances for both teams. The commentary will just drop down a little bit shortly. Yep, to be able to make sure we get that sub at the right time. It hasn't changed. Oh, that's 80. He hasn't changed speed at all. And nothing's happened. Chance there, can't done well. Oh, a chance. Oh, Kohler. Oh, too much going on. 87 minutes it's gone to for the substitute. Yes, we got to stamp up to an 8 as well as a goalkeeper, Shawquist. Are we going to see Salt coming on for Flitcroft?
Sea Salt. We're having sea salt, aren't we?
We want Salt. Salt for Flitcroft is a key change surely at this point.
Yeah, I can't see Fortuna getting back into it. We've not peppered the goal, have we? So it's the perfect time for Salt to come on.
And while he's doing that, we will just have a little think. It will be Salt for Blinkhorn and going to centre mid. Salt for Blinkhorn, and I assume that is to go with that. then, would you say?
Well, yeah, it depends on. You can't have four centre mids, can you? So yeah, that probably makes the most sense. But I don't know if they want three more central and one
I'll leave it there for him to make a
defensive.
decision on what's going to happen. But player of the season in Division 1, the finalists, of course, we've got two: Collins, Day, Bonk, and Yavin. And with 50%, the vote for player of the season for Division 1 is David Collins of Badgers, winning player of the season at that point. Saviola Central, that he is Central, isn't he? I think, is there anything else that we need to do on that?
Well, I'm not sure. Salt's definitely in centre mid. Yeah, I presume that's where they're running, so it makes the most sense. But
yeah, we've done what we've been asked to do there. I'm pretty sure. So last few minutes, will anything happen? Parking the bus. Late one here. Chances going forward for Ewan. Alan Drews pulled up with the yellow card. Going down the other end, a late chance. Bonk done well. Bonk done well again. Oh, he's missed the target. And that could be that is it. And the winner of the cup is Ewen Rovers, who yet again score one past Fortuna. And it's an unbeaten run against that team for this season. 1-0.
yeah, they're a real bogey team. So congratulations to Mr. Shaw and his team. I mean, performance-wise, both teams pretty terrible, really. I mean, the three centre backs from Fortuna played well, and I guess that just shows that Ewan were attacking well. But it's not the greatest cup final, is it? In terms of that, well, just not enough shots on target from my boys, and Ewan were clinical with the chance. So well played to them.
Yeah, great summary of the game there. To be honest, I mean, looking at the match stats there, they have edged it on shots on target, and just in terms of possession, they're just. I mean, it was a very very tight game, but it was Ewan who put their shots on target and tested David Day. I think as David retracted his message because he mentioned Saeed on 8, he ended up with a 9, but you're absolutely right that he's done so well with the arrow there. David saw that message. Tato saying an incredible result, but the whole cup run for them has been like that. Stephen Shaw saying hard luck Fortuna, and it's unbelievable. Yep, and Mike Savage applauding the. Probably applauding both teams, to be honest, but credit to Ewan and well done for winning the cup. That is a trophy for Ewen Rovers.
It's an excellent result from him. I mean, with that sort of squad, you don't expect them to do well. I mean, they were 10th in the league.
It's the greatest moment of his life. I would be the same. I think I would feel exactly the same if I were you.
It's a great performance. 10th in the league with that squad, and it was a late collapse. Otherwise, they could have been even higher in the league, weren't they? Really, they rested the key men, but it just shows once you put sort of 3 or 4 key men into a squad of what should be terrible, really, that they can outperform anyone on the day. I know Fortuna are the strongest squad in the world as well, but even have beaten some big teams. Even with goalkeepers through the season. So yeah, congratulations to them. They've played really well, and I mean on the basis of the 5 out of 6 shots on target, they deserve the victory tonight, and so they made my centre backs work, but no one's really troubled them at the other end. So fair play to them.
Yeah, good point about that. The squad sort of nailed on bottom. No, 10th in the league and a very very solid cup victory. Now next season, of course, you got a day to get your squad in for next season. It's going to be interesting. I would wonder what it would be like if you were to keep that team going on. But he's got to be sticking around for next season. It would be great to see Ewan or whatever concept goes on for the team next season. It's been great.
Yeah, that's it. I said that's what the league's about, really, isn't it? Having a bit of fun. And I'm going to wave goodbye to my 25 Fortuna players now. They're all going to Pastors, and I knew you're taking Jurgen Kohler onto your team. I think David Day's found a home, but I don't think there'll be many homes for the rest of these reprobates.
Kenny Lunt, I think maybe Gondor signing, maybe potentially based on today's talk.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice. It's nice to see some new players in the league. So I'm bringing in 25 new boys to my squad, giving them a run out. I've not managed too many of them before, and it's been good to see some of the concepts that have come through. And I much prefer a concept team to just bang in the players with the highest ability, or the players that you play in every game, because it's just about having a bit of difference, bit of fun. I made it to a cup final, which is a decent result, and Mr. Shaw couldn't deny him the greatest moment of his life, could he? So he's played it really well there.
Kohler is going to Dinamo Mega Horse for next season. You're absolutely right. That's where Kohler will be going. Oh, Mr. Shaw is he about to drop a bombshell on us with his little comment there. I know, Quinton, you need to go. If you do need to go at this point, that's absolutely fine. I will play the imaginary Madrid game just for imaginary purposes. So if you do need to go, that is absolutely fine.
Yeah, I will. I will clear off the evening. It's been an absolute pleasure for the season. Thank you, Mr. Megahorse, and congratulations again to Mr. Shaw for the cup, and to Mr. Trafford as well for the
Mr.
for the
Trafford.
league victory as well. It's Mr. Trafford, yes.
Dodgy Trafford. Good name.
Badger Trafford, that's right, correct.
Right, anyway, Quinton, thank you very much, and good night to you.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
And we will have a quick look at the pretend game, especially a friendly between the two sides. I don't even think Matt knows he's got a game, because I sure didn't. Looking into the team for today, he's got that formation, and we'll just play out the match and see what happens in extremely fast commentary going on here. So the team have started pretty well. Saha's got an opening goal, and they're 2-0 up with Joe Cole, and at half time they are comfortable, and they will go on to see how they get on over the second half. It's 3-0, and it's time for them to make some subs, and because it's a friendly, we'll just see how they get on here with subs brought on of Joe Cole can come off for Robin. We'll bring on Good Johnson for Anelka and see if he sulks, and they can also bring on Richard Dunn at the back to replace John Terry, because he's John Terry. So it's the third goal was scored by Kesman, and it's been a solid victory for the team there of 3-0. Great, there we are. So that one is played out in the Norwegian Cup victory. If we take a quick look at the manager news there, not even a congratulations to his team. What a shame that that's happened. That's unfair, isn't it? What the league is saved there. So to everybody who's been watching tonight, and everyone who's been watching throughout the season, thank you very much for this. We will be back with our first league games of the new season. Should be, I think, on the 26th. If it's not the 26th, it'll be the 30th of August, and we'll be looking forward to seeing what goes on in those games. And please make sure that any teams that are not in, get those ones in ASAP. I will start to put the teams together for next season, and we will be seeing which teams go into which division, because there will be some changing around based on squad strength as well. Anyway, no, thank you very much, Stephen, for your performances this season as well. It's been a tremendous season to be part of, and we will hope to make it even better in season 2. That'll be the hope there, with the squads becoming even more interesting and more varied. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you very much, everyone, and good night.